Welcome to Altcoin Wednesday on Sin City Crypto. If you're a fan of altcoins such as Avalanche, XLM, Cardano, XRP, and of course, Near Protocol, you do not want to miss today's show. We have some important news to share with you regarding all four of those cryptocurrencies. We also have Near Protocol co-founder Alexander Skidanov joining us live in about 30 minutes to break down everything happening in the Near ecosystem. We're going to be focusing on AI and what that means. Speaking of AI, a new sandbox has been opened by Virtual's Protocol. Is this a project that you need to have in your portfolio? We'll talk about that. Also, we'll take a look at some charts and why a bullish pattern on the Bitcoin chart says we could potentially be heading back up to that $105,000 to $110,000 level very, very soon. We'll talk about that and much, much more on today's episode of Sin City Crypto. Let's go.
Hola! It's your boy, Big Rob, back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto, home of the entertaining, focused cryptocurrency content. You know what? We're back. We are so back, bro.
Oh my
we
God.
are so back. You know
oh my
what?
God, dude.
I thought for a second perhaps we were going to go test 91, 92. Wow. Maybe we had this Christmas consolidation, but
I thought the bull market was over, man. So happy.
Dude, we are so back over $100,000. You know what? Every show lately, it's just been jam-packed, full of, I don't know why I yelled that so loud, but anyways, it's been so full of different bullish narratives as far as companies buying Bitcoin. And at the end of the day, we can sit here and talk about this company's doing this and this regulation. At the end of the day, MicroStrategy is routinely buying $2 billion worth of Bitcoin.
Routinely.
We have miners routinely buying Bitcoin. We have the stock exchange routinely having massive net inflows on the ETF products. We have the likes of BlackRock. I mean, and then you have strategic reserve coming for Russia. Oof. You got strategic reserve for Bitcoin for the US coming.
Don't forget about the most important one.
What's that?
Sweet home Alabama. State auditor says Alabama should establish a Bitcoin reserve. Yeah. How bullish is this? I mean,
and so how you asking me?
Roll Tide.
You know what's funny is that you asked me how bullish is this, but yesterday when you showed Russia's going to start a Bitcoin reserve, you didn't ask me that. You just basically like highlighted it. You're like, yeah, Russia,
Alabama, bro.
Russia is plotting.
Listen, roll tide. Reserve. Roll tide.
And then he's like, all right, and on to the next news. And then today you're like, Alabama.
You know, one of my buddies from the chat, I'm not going to say who because I don't know if they want to dox themselves, is actually from Alabama, so he should be pretty happy right now.
Wow. Yeah. Go figure. Someone actually lives in that state.
Roll tide.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyways, sorry. Yeah. You brought up a lot. You brought up the ETFs. I'll show that in a little bit. But yeah, man. You know, we talk about Bitcoin a lot, and we should, right? Today's going to be more of an altcoin focused show. There's a lot of altcoin news. I mentioned Avalanche. I mentioned Near Protocols, why I'm wearing green today. Alex is joining us, co-founder of Near. I'm curious to get some insight on AI, and there's been a lot going on in the Near Protocol ecosystem. This is a project that, we've been talking about on the show since the bear market, right? Under $1, I was buying. I think my average cost for Near is right around $1.60. And so one of my favorite projects and what they're doing. But first, let's start with some inflow. So Bitcoin ETF flow, another strong day, 500 million yesterday as BlackRock led the way. And, Fidelity wasn't too far behind. So BlackRock brought in almost 300 million, Fidelity 210 million. The rest is negligible. Grayscale had another outflow day of 62.8, which brought our net to 438 in the green. For the Ethereum ETF, we're seeing this pick up rapidly, right? And I think you can point to a direct correlation between this and the price of ETH going up, right? We know the tokenomics of Ethereum, they're deflationary. As more coins are bought, as more coins are used, coins are burned, becomes deflationary as long as the network is being used, which if you're buying and settling on chain, like you have with the ETFs, you're settling, these are on-chain transactions. And so ETH today is back over $3,800 We did get to 4K a couple days ago, $3,800. And so this is something that, kind of was lackluster, right? You had a lot of altcoins running. We didn't see that typical money flow where it went from Bitcoin and then straight to ETH and then kind of a waterfall effect down the list of all the altcoins. We saw the opposite happen, right? We saw it go to Bitcoin, skip Ethereum, go to meme coins and small caps, and then it made its way back up to the L1s like Cardano, like XLM, like XRP, like Avalanche, like Near Protocol. And then finally, it feels like ETH is starting to run, and I think the ETFs have a lot to do with it. And so if you picked up ETH and you were accumulating ETH around $2,500, sub $3,000, that investment is playing out pretty well as ETH's market cap approaches $500 billion. That's trillion with a T, my friends. So a lot of inflows there. I'm curious. Interesting to see the flipping here, right? ETH A is your BlackRock product, and then FETH is the Fidelity product, right? And Fidelity.
Did you say FETH?
FETH. Fidelity ETH. 202 million. And so interesting. Maybe Fidelity will go all in on ETH like BlackRock did with Bitcoin, because we know BlackRock is continuing to dominate the inflows for Bitcoin ETF. Can we see Fidelity do that for ETH? I don't know. Obviously, we believe there's opportunity there for these guys. But do you expect these inflows to continue to go up for ETH? We're almost at par, right? 300 for ETH, 438 million for Bitcoin.
Still underperforming Bitcoin, right? I know it's made up some ground. We made up some ground lately. I was expecting that.
You were expecting ETH flows to outpace Bitcoin?
No, not the flows. I'm talking about the price of Bitcoin. Okay. Percentage gains in comparison to Bitcoin, the trading pair Bitcoin to ETH, whatever you want to name it. I was expecting ETH to really do what altcoins have done or what ETH has done in the past in a bull market scenario, especially in the beginning of stages of bull market. We've seen that ETH has just outperformed Bitcoin when it comes to price. Haven't seen that, so I don't know.
Yeah. Frank said he bought the dip yesterday. Caspa, Bitcoin, and some turbo before the Coinbase listing. I think you're up. I haven't seen, where is Caspa at right now? And so we're going to do another Caspa video here soon, but Caspa is up 7.5%, 16.58 cents. We know you made money on Bitcoin. Good call on turbo. I had so much turbo that I bought it for cheap. I sold the majority of it, felt like an idiot, rebought on a dip. I'm still currently in the green, but yeah. I mean, guys, are you noticing a trend here? Are you noticing a trend? Coinbase, Kraken, I'm not sure about crypto.com, but those two, Coinbase and Kraken, two tier 1 exchanges in the United States, are starting to turbo list meme coins. And Turbo is one of them, right? They just announced, and I'll share this here. Where did it go? Right here. Coinbase just announced they're listing Peanut, right? And so this is something that we were not seeing 4, 5, 6 months ago. I think this is the Donald Trump, Gary Gensler is leaving effect, right? These exchanges are feeling more confident in listing some more speculative assets, knowing that they're not going to get heat from the SEC. They're not going to get Wells notices. They're not going to get lawsuits. And so I am telling you, take this as a sign. They're not listing Cardano native assets. They're not listing Avalanche native assets. They're not listing like utility coins, right? Projects that do things. They're listing meme coins. What is that telling you? What does retail want? Retail wants meme coins. That's what they want. And so, again, I say to you, as I've said before, and I've gotten some pushback here, you need to have some exposure to meme coins. Because guess what? When your normie neighbor signs up for a Coinbase account, it's like, oh my God, is that the squirrel that they killed in New York? Oh my God, it's only $1.50. I want to buy some. I'm saying, take this as a sign. These exchanges are rapidly listing meme coins. And so you should have, my number is 20%, but I'm very, very, very risky, right? And I have a strategy there. But some of it, right? Some of your portfolio you need to have in meme coins because you don't want to miss out on these large pumps. Do you agree with that? I mean, Peanut got listed, Turbo got listed, MOG, SPX 9000 got listed on Kraken.
I mean, but what is the real transaction volume? What's the volume for meme coins?
Pretty high
on Coinbase. I feel like it's The bread and butters, you know, the big alts. And I think they're just expanding the catalog just to keep people happy. These little small, they don't want to lose users to other exchanges that are like, well, they don't have all these little fun meme coins. I don't think it really means Coinbase doesn't need it, right?
What do you mean Coinbase doesn't need it?
They don't need the transaction fees for these. I think it's just smaller. I think they're just doing it to keep the community happy, in my opinion. I think
so then if that's the case, they would have listed Caspa.
Well, the reason they haven't listed Caspa because they're not providing liquidity. So they'd either have to go purchase it or mine it or acquire it. They have to go buy it. And so that's the reason. Now, what you do with a meme coin is that you just simply say, hey, give me X amount of supply for listing to provide liquidity for the trading pairs. And in turn, the project has to dish out, you know, millions of dollars, sometimes tens of millions of dollars of meme coin, of said coin. Now, if you're Caspa and you have an exchange saying, "Hey, we need coins for liquidity," where are you supposed to get that?
Go buy it.
Yeah, then they have to go out and purchase millions of dollars in it. And then where do they go purchase it from? Another exchange that offers it that has low amount of liquidity. You also got to remember Coinbase is going to need a massive amount. You're not talking about a small exchange. So you're going to have to buy a ton. And then what's the biggest exchange that has Caspa listed?
Kraken.
Okay. How much does Kraken have? Do they have enough? Can they provide enough liquidity for Coinbase?
What do you mean?
Do they have okay, let's just say Coinbase needs, because Coinbase does substantially larger volume than Kraken, right?
Correct.
So Kraken probably doesn't even have enough liquidity to give to Coinbase, right?
Correct.
So then that's where I'm getting at, is that at some point they got to go through this large, daunting process of finding the tokens, paying for them. Also, if you can't get it over the counter from someone else, you got to buy it per the books. And if the books aren't that deep, then where is Coinbase supposed to pick it up? That's the whole thing. Is that we could easily say, why hasn't Coinbase?
These meme coins also, majority of them don't provide liquidity. Coinbase has to go out and buy them.
Coinbase is not buying Peanut the squirrel. They hit up the foundation, and then when you look at these tokenomics, a lot of times they say liquidity or whatever it is, partnership and marketing, things like that. You've seen the coin breakdown. It's always in there. And so it's part of the breakdown. And then there's usually some founder that has some ungodly amount of coins that he can't sell anyways. And so the founders are usually sitting on, the founder of Peanut is probably a group of people. Usually these large meme coins have 10, 12, 15 different people, and they're sitting on a massive amount of the token from initial launch. They can't even sell that much, right? Generally, I mean, now they probably can, but they're sitting on so much of the coin that when Coinbase asks for liquidity, they easily give it up, right? Because they know, like, hey, I'll give up X amount. Anyways, they usually divvy it up.
I don't know if Peanut did. I know Turbo is an AI one. Right? It was launched by an AI.
If you don't think that these, wake up, bro. If you don't think that these meme coins that get listed 3 weeks after they're created,
of course,
of course, Peanut was made. It hasn't even been 60 days. Has it been?
It's been close to 3 months.
Well, either way, no, because when did Trump get elected? Because it was like 2 weeks before.
Couple months, 60 days.
Yeah. Anyways, it's okay. Less than 90 days. So these things don't just come out of nowhere, get into the top 100, and then all of a sudden think that they're just all of a sudden Coinbase is like, this looks like a solid project. Let's list it. Oh, you don't have any coins? Let's dish out. No, they're all paying, bro.
Of course.
If you don't think that these exchanges,
but there's some coins, whether they're meme coins or projects like Caspa that don't pay for listings, that eventually they
don't get listed. That's why you want to get listed. You launch and you're on Coinbase 3 weeks later. You think you better know there's some fucking
Caspa's been around for years. Turbo's been around for years. And so, I don't know. But I agree. Majority of them, yes, they provide liquidity.
Yeah, they're also paying, doing handshakes. Like,
well, there's a fee. I think Coinbase is 100,000.
I get it. The white knight is Coinbase, but
The what?
The White Knight. The White Knight. The textbook
Savior?
example, the savior, the one that does everything how they're supposed to is Coinbase, right? But I'm sorry, man. I don't trust anybody in crypto. And I think that at the end of the day, my opinion is everybody's paying to play here, right? And even if you're on Coinbase, and there's been Brian Armstrong has fired back at many Twitter comments. He's been out here saying like, oh, we don't charge for listings. Remember that one?
Yeah, that was funny.
He said, we don't charge for listings. And then boom, look at that comment section. It was project after project after project after project saying like, hey, you said you don't charge for listings. However, here's an email that we received from you. And so.
Yeah, I'm not saying that they don't ask people for money for listings or coins. I'm just saying it happens. Well, obviously less so than people paying for it, but still.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's less, I don't want to say fraud.
Like, I agree.
But,
if there was a Casper Foundation where they did the listings and they paid, Casper would already be listed on Coinbase.
Yeah.
No
and it took Cardano. It took Cardano, which launched back in 2015. ICO was 2015. Anyways, it didn't get listed until 2021 on Coinbase. It came so freaking late. And I mean, yeah, dude, it's funny how quick the meme coins get listed, man. That's all.
Oh yeah, the ones that are 2 weeks in and they get listings, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, 100%,
and that's allocated prior to their launch. You know, the strategic allocation. As a Hawk Tour girl. Speaking of Hawk Tour girl, on that Spaces, she said, "I'm tired. I'm going to sleep." And then it's been 7 days. We haven't heard from her. You think she's still sleeping, or
bro? She got lampooned, bro. She has been drugged through the mud.
You think she knew what was going on, or you think they took advantage of her ignorance?
I think it's a little bit. First of all, I mean, how old is the girl? Right? She's
20s.
Yeah, so she's young, inexperienced, first time with money, she's got
fame.
It's the same thing. Like, okay, let's
leave it to the crypto bros to ruin your.
When one of those basketball people they like skip college and they go straight to the big leagues, and all of a sudden they get like $20 million, and all their friends are over there wearing Rolexes, and it's the same thing. She's just getting taken advantage of. Told X, Y, and Z. She doesn't understand crypto and blockchain. I ran into her when we were down in Nashville.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and I mean, she seems nice.
Did you ask her to hug to it and spit on that thing?
No, man. I don't know. Everyone wanted to take photos or whatever. She was just kind of in the group, and I'm just like, I really didn't say anything to her, but she was mingling in the circles out.
Little did you know, Robin. 3 months later,
but I'm not surprised. I mean, she was at multiple conferences. She spoke on some different kind of panels on like community and stuff like that. And, nobody was really asking her any like personal like questions as far as like, hey,
you didn't ask her how
expertise.
You didn't ask her how Pookie was? How's Pookie? Anyway,
who is Pookie?
Pookie's her boyfriend.
You know a lot about her, huh?
Well, that video that went viral. At the end, she said, "I love you, Pookie."
Oh, is that what she said at the end?
Anyways, one thing we also love is our sponsors here because they help keep the show running. And today's show is brought to you by Legacy Network and the Legacy Academy app, which has been live on Apple and Google Play stores. Download yours now. The LGCT token drop is coming very, very soon, and you're going to want to have some of this in your portfolio. Trust me, we've been working with the team closely for almost an entire year. These guys are the real deal, and so join their Telegram. Download the app if you haven't had it. It's going to feature a non-custodial multi-chain wallet built directly into the app. And so the link to join the Telegram, stay up to date, is in the description of this video. Look at this piece of news. You know, we talk about some like actual use cases, right? Like we talk about supply chain management, makes sense. Tokenization makes sense. Payments, stable coins make sense. We talked about ticketing, right? And you have so passionately spoken out against Ticketmaster, StubHub, and how much they charge. Well, guess what, Robin? The first ever 100% ticketing for a major league sports team is coming to the Avalanche Network. And that is compliments of Sports Illustrated, their box office platform, which is launched on the Avalanche Network in partnership with the New York Red Bulls, the MLS team. They announced a historic 13-year partnership, renaming the arena to Sports Illustrated Stadium, and also integrating blockchain technology for all live event ticketing. Starting in 2026, the SI Stadium will become the first major. Where'd you go? Will become the first major venue to fully adopt blockchain-based ticketing via the SI Tickets platform called Box Office. Built on Avalanche, Box Office is a complete end-to-end event management ticketing solution, elevating fan engagement by transforming tickets into dynamic digital assets, offering exclusive perks, personalized content, and more. Again, something that we have highlighted and talked about as this makes complete sense utility. What are your thoughts here? Okay.
Yeah, it was maybe... Anyway, about a month ago, I went to go look for tickets for me and my son to go to a hockey game. Tickets were $200. And I was like, you know what? I can swing that. $400 to go. After StubHub fees, which were very comparable and pretty much the same on all the other ticketing websites, which was Vivid Seats and Game Time. Anyways, $400 seats turned into $620. I'm just like, how? How do you go from 400 and then you go to the checkout and then you go from 400 to 600? Like, this is the craziest markup I've ever seen. Like, imagine ordering StubHub and you're like, your Taco Bell went from $20 to $32. Like, what?
You mean Grubhub?
Stub or Grubhub? Yeah. Or
actually, what you're saying is actually true. It does go to that high.
No, it doesn't. That's what I'm saying. It's usually $5, man.
Oh, you have the dash pass?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's usually $5. Even without a dash pass, it's still like $5. Anyways, if you order $100 worth of food, usually you get charged like $5, maybe $10 at most. If you order $100 worth of tickets, you get charged $200. Like, it's crazy, dude.
100% markup.
I don't get it, man. And then the sad part is that they don't even deliver the tickets. They require you to deliver the tickets if you sell it.
And then what happens when you sell it?
You don't get anything. And then when you do sell it, they give you 10 days to get your money. They have 10 days for the money to get to you. They're like, we have to wait till
they charge the buyer the fee, then they also charge the seller the fee.
Yeah, they do. They charge the seller the fee too. Yeah. Dude, it's absolute robbery. It's absolute robbery. But the one problem is, though, what we've seen with ticketing so far, is that all we've seen is these collectibles ticket stubs. Nobody really wants those. I'm sorry. Maybe for a Super Bowl, if you have an NFT of your ticket, sure. But nobody wants number 23 home game of an 80-game series. I mean, 80-game season. And you want the stub, like, just stop. Nobody wants that crap. Nobody wants the NFT digital stub version. You want to have transactions peer-to-peer of ticketing to other, that's what we need. That's the holy grail of ticketing, is peer-to-peer transfer without anybody else taking a giant cut. Please, for the love of God, Avalanche, just build it, please. Please.
Well, Robin, they heard you and they built it. Let's talk about XRP here. Big news yesterday. We did a video covering this. Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin gets approved by New York regulators. Robin, I already kind of shared my thoughts. Obviously, very bullish, bringing people into the XRPL ecosystem. We're going to see it on Cardano. We're going to see it on Algorand. We're going to see it on Hedera. We're going to see it on all the other layer ones that have been around for a while as that kind of consortium that Charles Hoskinson has put together. What are your thoughts here, man? It's official.
I'm just curious what exchanges are gonna roll it out as the trading pairs, right? I think that's more important. For DeFi, makes sense. Ethereum is the go-to for stable coins, but I mean, I want to see it on Solana. Really love to see it on Solana. Obviously. I mean, Ethereum's, it makes the most sense at the moment, but let's get it on Solana and let's get all the exchanges on there.
It's going to go on Cardano.
The thing is, you log in, I would hope so. But you log into Coinbase, you log into any exchange, and it's always Tether, man. So everything is trading pairs, Tether. And so they have a monopoly on that market. And so hopefully, I want to see RLUSD be very successful and take some of that market share. I want that to leave Tether's ecosystem. And, well,
it's gonna make Ripple so much money if it gets the adoption.
Dude, man, if you're an XRP fan, it's gonna be glorious.
I mean, yeah, where's XRP at right now? So let's take a look.
Oh, it's pumping again, man. It's getting up to that $2.50 mark. And so a big price movement over the last 24 hours. I think it's up like 10% last 24 hours, something like that.
17.
Yeah, 20% almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Markets are hot, man.
Man, oh man.
Speaking of hot markets,
altcoin season round 2. Here we come, man.
Let's take a look at the hot markets there, Rob.
Yeah, you got it. All right, so you got Bitcoin flirting with the 100,000, 1,000, 101.
100,000, 1,000.
101,000.
Well, technically, you're right. 100,000 plus 1,000 is 101,000.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good to see. I mean, look at this 24-hour chart. I mean, we're down to 95,000. So,
Rob, this is what I was talking about.
And it flips the whole. Look, it flips the whole freaking.
Rob, did you expect the rebound to be this quick? A day turnaround after the $2 billion in liquidations? Did you expect it to rebound this fast?
Nothing surprises me. Nothing surprises me.
But you didn't.
I did not wake up this morning and was like, holy crap. No, I was just like, oh, there we go. Back up to 100. The thing is, this is par for the course in a bull market. Giant swings, $10,000. I mean.
But even in bull markets, sometimes these dips will extend to 25, 30, 40%, right? We've seen that in multiple cycles. But this is part of the reason why. What we're seeing now is these quick rebounds when Bitcoin draws down, that's 7 to 10%. The quick rebounds right back up to where it was. This is part of the reason, a majority of the reason I have said, and I will continue to say, in the bull market, when we get those retracements, we're not going to see those 25, 30% retracements because these dips are going to be bought up very quickly. We've seen it twice now. Flash wick to 92, back up to 104. Flash crash, right? Large liquidations, $2 billion, down to 94, back up to 100 in 24 hours. And so we're going to continue to see this. There is zero doubt in my mind. We're going to continue to see this. So that's kind of my thoughts on BTC, but I'll throw it back to you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the altcoins are just, it's almost instantaneous. And, you look at the biggest gainers today. I mean, the list is deep, man. And so obviously most of these altcoins are outperforming Bitcoin at the moment. But you look what's down. Absolutely nothing. Nothing is down for the 24 hours. So portfolio should be looking really good. But I did want to highlight a couple of projects that are performing pretty well. One, BitGet token. Why do I want to highlight this? First of all, damn near 2x.
You actually are going to highlight it?
No, well, I don't suggest picking this up. I'm not a believer in BitGet token.
Do you like it? Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Well, where I'm getting at here is that up 80% on the week. So look at this 1 week here. It went from $1.70 up to $3.40 basically. So we've had a full 2x. And you look at what performance this has had. And so from December up from $1.50 from the beginning of this cycle. So from January, 50 cents. So 6x. Just look at that candle though, man. Look at that. Straight vertical.
Huge.
And now, anyways, where I'm tying this all back into is crypto.com. And we've talked about this several times. And I'm telling you right now that crypto.com is going to go vertical. Crypto.com will go vertical. And this is the 1 month sideways consolidation on the year, performing well. But when you look at compared to BitGet, it is not moved yet. And then you look at the all-time and you say, hey, this has the potential to get to $1, right? It was at 90 cents before. 9x away almost, or we'll say 7x away. 7x away from its previous all-time high, where we've seen project after project that did well last bull market cross all-time highs already, minus maybe Ethereum, and Cardano's pretty damn close. And so I have no doubt that as long as the bull market shapes up the way we think it is, that as far as Bitcoin breaking all-time highs, getting to 250,000, maybe 500,000, maybe even higher, who knows? But
there is difference.
Crypto.com is gonna crush it.
There's a difference though. You mentioned exchange tokens, right? But there's a difference between BitGet and Chronos, right? Chronos obviously is the exchange token. It's launched by crypto.com, but it's also got an ecosystem, right?
Yeah, and also they have the metal cards, and then you can stake, and then they offer like 10% returns on the staking fees. I mean, I know staking, is a scary word for a lot of people. But
let me ask you this question: what are your thoughts on exchange tokens that don't have any utility, that don't have an ecosystem? Right? We know Chronos has an ecosystem. What's another exchange token that has an ecosystem? I think OKX, right? They have their layer 2. Well, Binance. But what are the thoughts on like KuCoin token, BitGet token?
Well, a lot of those,
token.
well, Binance token, for example, the reason it was created was, or the reason it first started was, hey, buy the token. The main utility was you get a discount on your trading fees, right? Or whatever it is, you stake a certain amount, and then you get your trading fees are like waived or whatever it is, or you get a substantial decline in it. And that was cool at the time, right? But at the end of the day, it's just speculation, baby. It's the same thing. It's the same thing as a meme coin, right? We can sit here and be like, what does Peanut do? What does Shiba Inu do? What does Doge do? Let's just not kid ourselves. Like, it is what it is, right? These exchange tokens, it's a vehicle to make money, right? Exchange grows. They incentivize their users to buy it. And then they already have a ton of users there with accounts on there. It's very simple to onboard people that already have an account. Why won't I buy BitGet token? Why don't you buy BitGet token? Just a quick question. Just throw me the fastest answer there is.
I don't believe in it.
Okay. But anyways, what if you did believe in it? Here's the thing. Like, you got to go open up an account with BitGet. Right. And then you got to KYC. And then you got to go. Now, if you already have a crypto.com account, it's so easy to onboard users. That's where I'm getting at.
Right.
And so for me, I'm like, okay, this makes sense. And I think that crypto.com is just going to grow and grow and grow. And then every time all these users log in, at the top, it'll say, oh, here's your metal cards. Go spend your debit card, spend your crypto, like cash, use these cards, whatever it is, earn 10%. You're going to get spammed with all this advertisement. And then obviously they already heavily advertise. I mean, they have their names on arenas. I mean, they sponsor UFC, they sponsor the Formula One, and so nonstop promotions from them, and then their user base is going to grow. They're gonna onboard so many users. So many people are going to buy Chronos. Did you buy any Chronos last bull market?
I did buy Chronos.
How many more new people? How much more dumb money?
You keep calling me dumb money, but you're pretty.
How much more of these new people are going to come on?
Hold on. Are you saying that by buying Crow token is dumb?
No, what I'm saying is that
you just want to throw shade.
Yeah, I just want to throw shade. But anyways, you like to
what do I like?
You swing with you have a lot of emotional swings when it comes to buying stuff. And
I do.
And so, you downloaded that crypto.com account, and then you bought Crow, and
and I made money.
I did too.
What's
And I also made money because I remember I bought that
money?
at like 9 cents, and then it ended up shooting up to like 40 cents or something. Yeah, and then I ended up selling there.
I think I bought it like 4 or 5 cents.
Yeah,
sold it at like 42 or something like that.
Oh, a lot of money made. I that's what I'm saying. I think this is going to happen again, but even more so. And I think that we always say, hey, look what the other projects in the same sector are doing. There's no way Sandbox Forexes is an example.
Did you say
metaverse play?
Don't say no way.
There's no way Sandbox Forexes and Decentraland doesn't follow.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's no way that Shiba Inu 10Xs and Pepe doesn't follow. And so we're looking at a scenario, BitGet just 6X'd, and you don't think that they're going to follow? They're very similar in market cap list too. You look here, you have Chronos sitting at number 32 at $4 billion. BitGet sitting at $4 billion as well, number 34 on the market cap list. And so for me, it's an obvious no-brainer. Chronos is going to pump. Anyways, Longest testimonial ever on Kronos. They're not paying us, but I'm just telling you, and I'm going to come back to this, and I'm going to be like, told you. I'm calling it now, 50 cent Kronos by the end of the year.
By the end of the year? Huh. Might have to write this down.
Write it down. Get the pen. Get the paper.
50 cent Crow. End of year. Today's date is the 10th. The 11th. 2024. Okay. Interesting. All right. I want to give a big thank you. Do you remember when Magic was on the show yesterday?
Yes.
Remember he was talking about Chainlink and he said Chainlink's that support?
Mm-hmm.
He said, I'm putting in a trade. Well, made some money.
There you go.
Cashed out a 31% profit on this link trade. So I posted this and said, thanks, Magic. And to which he replied, I think he replied, yeah. He said, laughing my ass off. He said, support. Hey, man, also close out the Cardano position. I did put a trade in on the Cardano video I did yesterday. Close that profit out. Now, my limit order has not been filled yet, but I cashed out the market order. I think that one was like 45% gain, so that was great. And then the link one, still holding XRP, man. Still holding that XRP long. Our liquidation level is so low, and our entry price was at $1, like $5.10.
What's the liquidation point on that thing?
XRP?
Yeah.
Like 88 cents? Yeah. I ain't worried.
We ain't seeing that no time soon.
All right. Buddy. The time has come. If you are a fan of solid projects that are building in our space, and more specifically, Near Protocol, we have a special treat for you. We have a first-time guest joining us. Co-founder of Near Protocol, Alexander Skidanov, is joining us today. Alex, welcome to the show, man. How are you?
Very well. How are you?
I'm great. I'm David. I'm joined here with my co-host, Robin. Before we get into any Near Protocol talk, it's a holiday season, right? We had Thanksgiving, we got Christmas coming up. So I'm just curious, what is more stressful to you? Is it running a blockchain protocol or trying to explain blockchain protocol to your relatives around the Christmas tree?
I know there's no stress explaining blockchain protocol to my relatives. It's relatively straightforward.
Yeah, maybe you're more gifted than I am, because for me, I'm sitting there trying to explain. I'm like, well, this is how it works, and then they start asking all these weird questions, and then But Alex, again, thank you for joining us. Alex, there's been a lot. I want to focus today's conversation on artificial intelligence. I don't know if a lot of people know, but Near was actually originally founded as an AI project. And so you and your co-founder, Ilya, I know that's kind of your background, but AI agents has been a really big narrative that's picking up a lot of steam. I think we had the first AI agent that launched its own AI coin. It was on Virtual's protocol. That kind of opened the doors, and everyone now is talking about AI agents. So I want to share this video that the Near Protocol handle posted on X. Build your own AI agent, build on-chain transactions with AI. So this is about a 40-second video. I want to watch this with you, Alex, and I want to kind of get your thoughts on this here.
If you haven't messed around with it, I think it's one of the most advanced blockchain transaction building mechanisms, because not only are you able to build your own agent, like here we have the Safe Account Assistant. This took our team 2 hours to build. That allows you to deploy your safe for free, to add recovery, and do all these sort of things. But it also has chain abstraction at the core. That means one account can sign for multiple chains. So just imagine in a prompt, and this isn't me saying imagine in a prompt, this is you today being able to go in and say, I'd like to deploy a safe on OP. I'd like to deploy a safe on Arbitron. I'd like to transfer my USDC over to here. All that stuff is ready to go.
Alex, what are your thoughts on the direction of artificial intelligence agents and how Near Protocol is really positioning itself to be the front runner here?
Yeah. So the video you just showed, that's a beta. It's one of the OGs of Near. They started like on day one back in 2020. They launched a NFT marketplace called Mintbase, which is still quite active, right? And so right now they're embracing this agents narrative, and they have. He mentioned in the video chain abstraction. Chain abstraction is a technology that allows you to use your Near account to sign transactions on any other chain. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Doge, you name it. And with BETA, what you can do is you can effectively have an agent which has access to the account, meaning that you can, you can take any actions, from that interface on any chain, and that's pretty cool. And I think generally, the agents, it's a much more, for many people, it's a much more intuitive way of interfacing with blockchain and do what they want. Agents today, I will give you a couple examples. One example is, in the DeFi space, there's a lot of different applications, and the primary way of you using them today would be like, if you want to borrow money on one of the lending protocols, you will go to the website that lending protocol has, right? The website, unlike the actual smart contract, is hosted by a centralized entity, which you fully trust, right? If it's compromised or the hosting provider is malicious, it's all bets are off, right? And if you want to execute any more sophisticated transactions that involve multiple different protocols, generally you would have to either use some app that has built that particular scenario for you, or you would have to be sufficiently sophisticated, technically minded person who is capable of doing that from CLI. Agents allow you to get a new level of abstraction where they know all the smart contracts, all the endpoints, how to call them, right? You go there, you explain your particular use case, they will be able to build transaction of any complexity for you. That could span multiple blockchains or multiple contracts within the blockchain. It will be able to talk back to you what it is about to do. You can sign off. They can on the fly generate interfaces, right? If you have some use cases which is more nuanced, that then can be figured out in the chat conversation. Then they can on the fly generate an interface for you, where you will populate whichever data is necessary. So it enables way more sophisticated use cases to be accessible to people who, in the current world, either don't have access to those use cases or they have to use less secure interfaces.
Yeah, that's exciting. And I think the exciting part you mentioned multiple times is the chain abstraction part, right? Being able to go from multiple different chains. And I'm just imagining, because my big thing from, I try to put myself in the shoes of the average person who wants to enter the space, right? It's a lot of complexities with cryptocurrency, trying to tell my mom or a friend that has Bitcoin or that has, Ethereum, they want to buy something on Solana. Well, first you got to do this. And it's just very complex. And so I'm all about.
It's also really, really beneficial for small businesses, right? That can't go through, the whole process of launching their own chain. I think that AI agents can really offer a barrier. It can break down the barrier entry to offer, a unique product for their customers. So I think that right now it's more focused on retail and individuals kind of launching their own AI agents and, the possibilities of that expanding. But I think it's going to be huge for
B2B
for businesses, small businesses globally. I think that's what I'm really excited about.
Yeah. It's multi-pronged approach. Alex, there's a post here that, again, near protocol. This is you and Ilya, and you guys kind of were talking. It's about a 50-second video. I'm not going to play the video, but I do want to reference it. And the headline reads, "The problem, AI is taking over the world, and it's happening behind closed doors at big tech." We had this from the CEO of Google, right? And everyone's kind of up in arms. They're freaking out, right? Quantum computing chips. That is, I guess, like head over heels better than the next best supercomputer. So a lot of people are starting to ask the question, well, does that mean blockchain technology is at risk? Does it mean it can crack the Bitcoin, the Bitcoin code? Can you maybe share some insight on this achievement? And is Near Protocol positioned to resist these quantum attacks? And this is coming from someone who doesn't understand what this even means. So if you can break it down for people like me and how Near is positioned or is positioning itself to kind of fight against this.
Yeah. So quantum computers, they are fundamentally different than like your usual computer that you would have at home, in the sense that I don't think I would be able to explain the technology behind them, but suffices to say that the numbers that are on the tweet from Google, they're quite accurate, meaning that something that on a conventional computer, and they're not just talking about the conventional computer, they're talking about the supercluster that they have. Right? They're saying that the quantum computer with 100 qubits was able to do something that, or 1,000, I don't remember how many qubits they have. That would have taken 10 to the 25th years, and it's in terms of how it affects crypto. So if that computer was to scale much further, right, if it had million qubits, it would be able to do very nasty things to crypto. So in the case of Bitcoin, two different assumptions would be broken. One that a signature on the transaction cannot be forged, and the second one that proof of work cannot be forged. And proof of work, I think, is less. It's slightly less affected because of the adjustment of the complexity, right? So once you have a quantum computer, you will be able to mine whatever number of blocks very quickly, but then the complexity will adjust so that it's still one block every 10 minutes. It's just that now only you can mine them because nobody else has a quantum computer. And that actually can be incorrect because presumably you can generate all zeros in the SHA and then it will stop. But anyway, it suffices to say that quantum computer with million qubits will be quite devastating for the current state of crypto. But importantly, we do have all the building blocks necessary to upgrade all the existing vulnerable aspects of the blockchain technology to be quantum resistant. The reason we do not do that today is because they're more expensive, right? So effectively, you will be protecting against something that is many years away, and you will be wasting quite a bit of resources, right? But once it is within reach, upgrading and updating, like Bitcoin, near Ethereum, all those blockchains, that is something. I don't think we have anything missing fundamentally from being able to secure them against quantum computers. So when quantum computers are coming, crypto will be fine.
Awesome. Alex, in that post, it was referenced to, the reference was, it's happening behind closed doors at big tech. And Ilya mentioned, doing open source means that anyone can just copy it. And there's no and I'm paraphrasing here, but something about monetization and essentially money, getting back resources that you've spent. My question is, right, there's obviously a race to the top of AI dominance. From your standpoint at Near Protocol, do you see the legacy titans like Google, OpenAI, Microsoft, do you see them as more of a competition to what you're looking to do, or your peers and colleagues in the blockchain space? Are they two different things, or are all of them combined trying to get to the same endpoint?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think there are several different, let's call them world tracks where the competition happens. Right in the space of adoption integration with the existing use cases that people have in Web3, we are in the same space with all other players in crypto. Right, in some aspects we compete, in some aspects we more so we work together. Competition that would be with OpenAI, with Google, and what the blog post you mentioned is referring to is more about training large language models. Right, today we have open source large language models, but they also created by large corporations such as Facebook, right? And we are sort of at the unique moment in time when Facebook and other companies have very strong incentive to publish those large language models in the open source, because that creates attention, and attention is all you need, right? So there's a fight for the talent, there is fight for users, etc. And Facebook, by publishing Llama, gets way more in return by bringing attention to itself. People want to work for Facebook. And then, if Llama is the de facto standard for open source, a lot of companies or users or people build on top of it. So, when Facebook hire talent, they already know how to use their internal tools. But that will not always be the case. If models get more and more expensive, companies will be less incentivized. If it costs $1 billion to train a model, it is not guaranteed that they will publish it, right? So we need a way to continue creating those models in the open, in a way that we can ensure that 5 years from now, 10 years from now, the best models are open source and publicly available. So in this case, monetization does become a big problem, because if the model goes into open source, you cannot monetize it. You cannot fund training the next model. You cannot just get $1 billion out of nowhere.
You can if you launch a meme coin.
Of course, yeah.
Alex, I kind of wanted to ask you, we know what Near's doing with AI, but outside of Near, which blockchain or project do you think is doing a really good job of positioning itself for the AI revolution?
Yeah. So I think there's a couple that I'm very excited about. So you showed the video from THETA. I think THETA is doing very cool stuff with agents, and there's a couple other companies that do some cool stuff in the agent space. There's Questflow, there's Zeta Block. I'm very excited about Prime Intellect. Prime Intellect is the company that is actually training large language models, and they just like less than a month ago, they finished training a 10 billion parameter model, which is very competitive, but it was trained, it was trained across the globe. Like some of it was happening in Finland, some of that was happening in Asia, some of that was in the US, which was that is the very first time when a large language model, a competitive large language model, was not trained in a cluster with the InfiniBand between every pair of machines. So it's a massive validation for the space that it's viable, right? And Prime Intellect is spearheading that direction. So that's one of the most exciting companies in that space.
Awesome. And then, I also want to ask you, kind of staying on this approach here, that merger between, the ASI, right? The Singularity, Fetch, and Ocean Protocol. Do you think, do you think that's going to be important to take on a more collaborative approach, maybe to leverage what some of these other blockchains or projects are doing, what they're good at, and working together? Or do you think the space is more pigeonholed into what each chain is doing and they're kind of just competing against each other? Or maybe what would you like to see?
I think, so first of all, I think AI space is sufficiently broad that it is unlikely that any entity will be able to do all aspects of what, AI, decentralized AI will have to comprise. And so from this perspective, I expect to see a lot of collaboration between different entities. In some aspects, yeah, there will be competition, right? I think agents, specifically like integration between agents and blockchains, is a very competitive space, and there will be both collaborations and, outright competition there, and maybe in some other areas. But generally, even in the space of launching layer ones, which is very competitive, we saw massive amount of collaboration. Like if you remember, 2019, 2020, when like Cosmos, Polkadot, Ethereum, Near, Solana, we were all working together.
Yeah.
Right. So I think even in the cases where companies are definitely competitors to each other, we're going to see a lot of collaboration happening.
Awesome. And then I was just curious, I know I've talked about AI and blockchain to some friends and people that are in crypto. I kind of always get back to the same narrative. Like, what are the benefits if you were to sell AI to, say, a company or the promise of AI? Why is it better on blockchain versus what we're seeing now? And I know the only thing that I've really talked about is, the centralization aspect. I'm like, hey, you know what? This is all centralized, all the data stored here, don't know what they're doing with it. What are the net positives if you were to sell, blockchain, Near protocol, and AI done in that manner versus what is popular now? Because, obviously OpenAI, they have a lot of users, and, Bard and all this other stuff's coming out. But what is the best selling point and why people should use AI in the future through blockchain versus what we're seeing now?
Yeah, it's a very good question, and there are several different aspects of different components of decentralized AI. I will focus on one. I think there's one that is that has a very short and very strong pitch, which is you generally don't want your data to end up in the wrong hands, right? And if you're a large corporation, or if you're any user of AI, if you use things like ChatGPT or Claude, your data goes to another entity, right? And those entities have very, very strong incentive to use the data for training, because it's a race. It's a race right now for data. Data is the bottleneck, right? So if you have a data which is a competitive advantage in your particular space, you send it to OpenAI, if it ends up being used in the next model, you're effectively helping someone, use your competitive edge against you. And in a decentralized AI, you can achieve very strong privacy guarantees with things like trusted execution environments. And in this case, it could be a much stronger option for people who are, cautious of how their data is being used.
Awesome. Alex, before we let you go, I have to ask you: is there any insider info you can give us? Any alpha you can give us for NEAR and what to expect in 2025? Maybe something you haven't shared yet, or I mean, I don't know. Is there any little tidbits you can give us?
Well, we're going to continue pushing on the same dimensions on which we were pushing, right? So chain abstraction. I think NEAR is effectively leading the efforts there, and I think chain abstraction will be pretty big. We just launched Intense in Van Gogh recently, right? And I think around Intense there's going to be a lot of things happening. That Intense enabled the first ever bridge between Dogecoin and another blockchain. So that's a brand new use case that is available for people, so now people can use their Dogecoins. That became, for particular reasons, very popular recently, with all the DeFi tools available on outside of Doge. And then, of course, artificial intelligence. I think there's going to be many interesting breakthroughs there. So 2025 is going to be pretty exciting.
Awesome, man. We're excited. We hope to maybe bring you or Ilya back on in 2025 to talk about some of the stuff that's been going on with NEAR. But this is a project that we've been excited about on this channel for quite a while. And so we just wanted to thank you for taking the time and joining us. And we look forward to speaking to you again, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thanks, Alex. Take care.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, I popped that. He's talking about the NEAR Intense and the swaps. I popped that up on the screen. That's something, comparing it to Thorchain, much more user-friendly and also much quicker and much cheaper as well. And so, shout out to Alex and shout out to David Morrison, who kind of helped facilitate that interview. So thank you so much. Also, if you're a fan of NEAR, we did a complete write-up on NEAR protocol, and I won't give all the info away, but there you have it. They got an A grading in our almanac. So if you haven't bought your almanac yet, do so. The link is in the description of the video. And so it's got write-ups here. It's got a bunch of different coins. So it's got so much stuff. You're going to want it for 2025.
Yeah.
That's all I got, man. Anything else?
No, that's it, man.
That's it? All right. Rocco? Thank you all so much for tuning in. We appreciate all of you. We have an ICP video coming your way in the next hour or so, so make sure you have your notification bell on. Enjoy the games, my friends. We will see you back here tomorrow. Peace.
Everybody know we here for entertainment and info. Gonna show you how to get that big dough. So every day stay tapped in for big facts, no capping. With Bitcoin, if you're in, then you win. We divide the pie with no fraction. It's Big Rob, David. I split the game, but they gave it. Name the coin that's your favorite. I got dry powder, why save it? To the OGs, new beginners. Special shout out to the well members. Buy a dip, sell winners. Ain't really nothing you can tell sinners. Tune in for the latest new flavors. They gonna teach us mean coins. They polarizing like barbecue chicken pizzas. I laugh with a major grin. Laggers, we trade them in. Baddies, they came to sin. And sinners gon' play to win. Screaming, hola, till my bags are flowing over. Hold ya to the moon and to the solar. Won't I? Don't be letting FOMO control ya. It's over when the finger tornado close ya.